What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what, Terrence?
Good old humor, man.
Good old humor.
Yeah.
And I mean, well, I guess we are back.
Yeah, back in black.
Yeah, back in black. I don't know whether it was clear enough on the last episode for people to get wind that we were going to take a short little break. We posted on Reddit and on Instagram. But we took a short break partly because I got COVID last week. But what about you, Terrence?
I went on my first vacation since COVID, man, and since having a kid and everything. The trial of traveling as a family for the first time.
Yeah, and really probably the next time you travel will be after the second kid comes in. But I mean, it was just interesting to reconnect with all the processes of travel again. You know, the customs and flights and everything. Are you saying that ironically or?
No. I mean in the sense of like I've missed it, you know, the idea of getting on a plane and like traveling to a different country and then changing currencies and all that kind of stuff. And it's all part of the process, right?
And at the airport, was it, you know, like last time when you go to the airport, there's a bus, you can walk around the shops, you know. Was it open? Like a lot of it open?
Yeah, a lot of it was bustling, man, the airports.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, I mean, the only challenge this time was that, traveling with a kid, a toddler specifically, is a challenge, because you're trying to keep him awake and alive most of the time. But other than that, it was pretty rejuvenating, man. Just seeing the world back on its feet. Yeah.
And I think your voice sounds better than it has been since fucking don't know when, yeah.
It's not perfect. In fact, I think people pointed out our voices were like, it's like we were put through auto-tune machines like that, as we were speaking to Rishi.
The last episode.
But both of us were, I didn't realize how bad it was until I heard the whole thing back. And I remember my nose was like, just like blocked by the end of that podcast, and I really sounded like a balloon just letting out air. Yeah,
my nose also was feeling weird. I had a headache. I think Rishi was the only one who was kind of at full capacity.
That's what you get with a 6-pack, man. You get a 6-pack, you never fall sick and all that. That's why everyone has to strive for it. But are you? Yeah, does that mean that you are negative now, officially?
Yeah. I was officially negative on Sunday.
Which is
No, I was negative. Yeah, Sunday, day 8.
Day 8. Oh, wow. Shit, that was pretty long, man.
Yeah, man. It hit me harder than I thought it would, man. I was very proud of my immune system so far, but holy shit, the first few days I was destroyed.
Yeah, you got the Biden bug.
Hey, Biden got again, no?
Yeah, he got it twice, yeah.
What the fuck?
That's how strong the Biden bug is.
The Biden bug, the Biden Halima bug.
Yeah. Now, Halima, I think, is really previous. That's the one that I got, I think, a month ago.
Oh, the Biden one.
Closer to the Biden one, yeah.
The resurgence. But yeah, we are back this week on track for 3 episodes. At the end of the week, we are going to... Can we reveal who we're going to have?
I think let's do that at the end of the week, closer to...
Yeah, because who knows what happens. But we're going to have a very interesting guest on Friday, and it's going to be fucking great.
Yeah, but I mean, that's why it's important for us to jump back into the regular programming to talk about what's happening in the world, right? But before that, of course, we do want to put out a plug out there, which is
just to get back on Reddit, man. I know the past week has been more quiet than usual because we haven't put out that many episodes. And shout out to all the people who responded on the poll that I posted about whether you guys want to hear us re-upload older episodes, which is something that we've seen other podcasts do. We weren't sure. We put out a poll, and generally people I think were like, nah. Just if they want old episodes, they'll just go back.
Yeah. But so, I think it's interesting. That's where feedback's important, and going on the subreddit is important to help us know what you guys want.
Yeah. But cool. All right. Are we ready to jump into the first fucking topic, man?
Yeah, and this one is it's in the realm of entertainment news, but I think it concerns a bigger question, philosophical question about life, right?
I guess so.
Yeah, and then everyone's former best friend.
Former best friend.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about what this
according to him, could still be future best friend. Still be future best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is the news around the latest YouTube video dropped by none other than Will Smith, who has 9.87 million YouTube subscribers now. I know when he first started going big on YouTube, people were saying, he's just another one of those celebrities who has come on board this platform that is meant for, creators who are not part of the system. But to his credit, he actually did a decent job putting out content that was quite YouTube friendly, like in a bit more true to the essence of YouTube than maybe the late shows and all. But yeah, he put out a 5-minute plus video apologizing to Chris Rock and talking about that whole incident, which the world saw a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, his I mean, we have some thoughts about the video. The internet has a lot of thoughts about the video. But it's 5 minutes plus. You can just go to his YouTube channel or click on the link in the show notes. But yeah, that's what we're going to talk about, man.
Yeah, but Chris Rock also had a response after that as well, right?
Yeah,
supposedly.
correct.
I don't know whether it was a direct response to Will Smith's video, because Will Smith's video did say that he had reached out to Chris Rock, but Chris Rock wasn't ready to speak to him.
Correct.
But Chris Rock apparently has already, is still going around on the stand-up circuit, talking about the whole incident, and he actually said that anyone who says that words hurt hasn't been punched in the face before.
Correct.
And he was also saying that everybody's playing the victim these days.
Yeah.
And such that no one actually hears the actual victim's words, which I assume is referring to himself, and in some way is also saying that Will Smith now is kind of playing the victim more than he should be, right?
Yeah, because
that's my assessment of what Chris Rock is saying. We can go into deeper detail about it, but
yeah.
But what do you think of did you watch the Will Smith video?
I watched.
Yeah,
Did you watch?
How do you feel when you heard that he dropped a YouTube video about it?
I mean, I was just praying it would feel sincere, because I think in this day and age where every month there's someone apologizing online for some shit they did, you've seen a whole spectrum of apology videos, right?
But I must say that he just watching the intro only, I felt like, wow, this guy is doing the YouTube template for apology videos. This is like how YouTubers make apology videos.
And why the first few seconds? Why?
I mean, there's some text that comes up as explaining he's been doing a lot of thinking and self-reflection over the last few months, and then it's like, and then he literally walks in and sits down, and you can hear sighing in the background, that kind of thing, like
the sigh.
This is so difficult for me. That kind of thing that we've all we've gotten used to watching from YouTubers making apology videos.
Yeah, the sigh. I think anyone who has seen at least a couple of YouTuber apology videos, you will recognize the sigh. Like,
and there needs to be an act of like showing that you're making this video, that you're like literally walking in and just talking, and rather than like following a script or something like that, right?
Yeah, correct.
It's like that's the idea of like showing people adjusting the camera, or like still sitting down, or still like combing the hair, checking the frame or whatever.
Yeah. You want to convey like, okay, this is not as polished, because I want it to be sincere. But that one maybe 10 years ago when YouTube was first coming out, it worked.
Correct.
You watched this video, and so far I haven't seen many positive responses to it. But okay, so generally he walks in, he sits down, there's a very audible sigh, which could totally have been edited out, but it was left in. And then he starts off, like over the last few months, been doing a lot of thinking and personal work. You've asked a lot of fair questions that I want to take some time to answer. He reached out to Chris Rock. Chris Rock is not ready to speak. And then he talks about his behavior, unacceptable. He apologizes to Chris Rock. He continues to apologize to Chris Rock's mother, to Chris Rock's family, specifically Tony Rock, who is Chris Rock's dad, who Will Smith had worked together before. And so then after that, he kind of says that, okay, there was a lot that he needed to unpack. He wanted to make clear that there was a question from, I don't know who, about whether Jada Pinkett made him do it. He said no, it was him. He apologized to her. He apologized to his kids, to his family, to his fellow nominees. And said that disappointing people is his central trauma, and that he hates it when he lets people down.
Yeah.
He's trying to think of himself as a human who made a mistake rather than a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And then he kind of ended off by saying that, okay, you know, like he's sorry to the fans, but if you give him some time, he's fully sure that they can be friends again, meaning him and his fans.
Yeah. But
yeah.
Yeah,
What
I
do you
also
feel, man?
No, I also got to give a shout out to Will Smith for daring to leave the comments on this video also lah. The comments on this video, they are really, I mean, the video has been viewed 3 million times.
Yeah.
And there are 23,000 comments as we speak lah. And some of them are really funny, like you know, they say, oh, like a rite of passage, you're officially a YouTuber, congrats, Will.
Correct.
Or, you know, this apology is as moving as the movie Morbius, truly a thing that exists.
That's his movie, is it?
No, Morbius was the really bad Marvel movie starring Jared Leto that you know, bombed in the box office.
I see.
And you know, like another funny comment was like, Will could really use that rewind button right about now. And yeah, just a lot of funny comments on YouTube. So
there was one also referencing the first line of the intro theme to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yes,
here's a story about how my life got twisted upside down, and I'll take a minute to sit right there. You should have started with that.
Yeah, the one talks about what he's wearing. It's like, this is a serious apology. You can tell he took a whole 5 minutes before going to play golf. Because Will Smith is decked out in like what looks like golfing gear, right?
Yeah, and I mean it's very well edited, well lit. The sound is impeccable, and I guess, I mean, maybe it's clear like our sentiments towards it, but maybe be a bit more specific, Terrence. What did you feel when you watched it?
I mean, I kind of, it's been 4 months really since the whole thing happened, right? And you kind of want to either close the chapter or move on from the incident, but there seems to be no moving on from this incident, and I think that might be why he's been pressed to make this video, in the sense that you've been hearing a lot of rumblings that a lot of his shows that were in development in Netflix and all that got cancelled. I don't think anyone is going near him right now for any casting possibilities really, right? Because it's like his name is toxic, and not just him. I think even his wife Jada Pinkett Smith, his kids also have been affected by this whole thing. Just the whole Will Smith family just seems like something's going on there, right? And so that I don't think anyone dares to go near him. So definitely there's a huge financial hit for Will Smith as well, and the fact that, you know, he's, aside from the I think an apology that was posted a day or two after the Oscars, we haven't heard much at all about this whole thing, other than Chris Rock going on the stand-up circuit and making some jokes about it. But seems here that the new information we learned here is that Will Smith has reached out to Chris Rock, but Chris Rock isn't ready to talk about it. So it seems like this is still going to be in limbo for quite a while. And I mean, I really was hoping that there'd be some closure with this kind of videos as well. Maybe, I don't know, Chris Rock appearing together with him or what, but it appears like it's still more damage control more from Will Smith's side than more than anything else.
But what do you want to talk about it?
No, because I just wanted to see, like, gauge what the response was, other than reading the comments, right? Because comments are, some people are just out to troll regardless. So besides reading online commentary, like, is there a route to forgiveness for someone who used to be as beloved as Will Smith? Like he said, you know, used to be everyone's. I mean, he wants to be everyone's friend again, right? And that's what he felt like back in the day, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and all that, right? But it seems like nobody wants to have him as a friend now, because you've seen what he does to friends. So it's just not a pleasant thing. So is there a route to forgiveness for this whole thing, right? Because I mean, even for personally for myself also, right? In recent months, I've also had incidences where where people that you were hoping were good friends and close friends to you, or that disappointed you in ways that you ask yourself, can we all ever be the same kind of friends again, right? Not going to mention names, but you know who I'm talking about, Harish, right?
Yes, I do.
You know who I'm talking about. And I mean, and I've been totally open about it. I've even told that person in his face that
we had a sit down, man.
Yeah, we had a sit down. I told him, I was very disappointed with what happened, and I don't know how it's gonna, how we're gonna patch things up or what, or it's gonna be like before. But yeah, this thing happened. We're in our 30s, and this thing still happened, and disappointed us as friends, and it's just something we just kind of gotta try and just we can't just sweep it under the carpet either, right? We just gotta try and confront it head on. But it's never easy, It's never easy. I will admit it's not easy, even as a man in his late 30s with a kid and everything. And when a friend does something to you that you don't feel like, hey, that's not what friends do to each other, right?
Yeah. I remember you telling me also that you're very embarrassed that you were feeling that way.
Yeah. But I'm okay to talk about it now because I have spoken to the person about it. I've reached out to the person, told him my stance about it. I'm not like, I'm
making a YouTube apology video.
Exactly. Or making, this is such a difficult
on a podcast. I'm like, Terrence, do you have something to say or not?
Yeah. I made it a point, to talk to the person and to also talk to him when I felt like, okay, it was a good time to talk about it. Not when it was, when I knew that he was busy with stuff and all, so right? Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's interesting you bring up your personal perspective because it's something I also have been thinking about. Like
because of your wedding, right? Because of your wedding.
I mean, wedding, but with like family and stuff, and just basically people who are like maybe do something that fucking annoyed you, but then at some point you're like, should I just let this go? And like everybody makes mistakes as long as you guys confront it and all. But I think even like what you described, right? I think there are certain ways that can help make the process a little more effective. Like the fact that you sat down with this person, I think that was good. And that was what I was hoping from Will Smith. Like that, let's say there are like 500 steps he needs to take. Yeah. Every step you take brings you closer to that, but you need to take the proper step. And this video, I think, was just fucking annoying.
Really? You think that this video wasn't like one of those 500 steps?
No, I think it was an attempted step, but it landed on the wrong step, and maybe he slipped and fell few steps back, I think.
I feel a bit more neutral about it. Like it's just sort of the same limbo that he's stuck in, and it just feels a bit more like when he says, "Oh yeah, my wife had nothing to do with it." I'm like, seriously, your wife had nothing to do with it, please, It was literally about her, right? Yeah.
So that's why I feel it's almost a step back, because if you're gonna make a video, this is the first video that you're officially gonna talk about it, you could have done so many things better. And first of all, like the fact that viewers will always have a perspective when they see certain kind of characteristics of your video. Like the fact that it's so polished, the fact that it's so edited, the fact that next to you there's a box of water that is the brand of your son's water company. It just feels like everything's very calculated, and you wasted this opportunity to kind of move towards the some sort of path to redemption. That's why by the end of it, I was like, oh, this guy. Want to feel bad for him also. Like, it's just weird. It's tough. It's tough.
So you're saying that he's been kind of inauthentic?
In this video, I think it's fucking inauthentic. Or even if he is authentic, everything around him felt inauthentic, which to me makes the video inauthentic.
Even the when he came close to tears and all that as well.
Yeah.
I just felt like how much of that is we know that he's an Oscar-winning actor
that's why
as well.
Now he got the chops to prove it,
Yeah. And then, so I was like, nobody's gonna believe those tears, right?
And then I was wondering, what did the other people also do right after the slap, and then on June 2nd, I think Jada Pinkett talked about it for the first time publicly on her own show, Red Table Talk, which is kind of like a long form interview format, which is super popular on Facebook. And if you watch the video, she addresses it saying, that slap, what I hope for going forward is for these two intelligent men to sit down and have a talk and heal. And it's all this fucking healing bullshit, which has a time and place. But I think in this case, it was almost trivializing the whole issue. And then the rest of the episode was about her explaining to what alopecia is and to help the world understand. And she brought on people suffering from alopecia or related to people suffering from alopecia, one of whom is a mother who lost her daughter after the young daughter committed suicide because of bullying. lah.
Yeah.
So it just feels like, wait, is this really you trying to educate the world or trying to use this opportunity to explain why you're going through such a horrible experience and why Chris Rock cannot make fun of you? So then when I see it, I'm like, fuck that. And then on the flip side, you see an interview with Chris Rock's mom, I think like a few weeks after the slap, and she was so cool. She was saying stuff like only a mom would say, and basically saying that, it just felt horrible that there was no apology. She's very proud of Chris. Like for Jada to be laughing that loudly after the slap, it doesn't feel like she had nothing to do with it or whether she wasn't happy about it.
Yeah. I mean, and at the end of the day, even in Will Smith's video, he talks about like, it's almost like it's more focused on himself and his process of healing rather than like, the fact that like he says, like, he doesn't want to be ashamed of what he did. I make mistakes and all that. I think a mistake, mistakes have different levels of severity as well, right?
Yeah, exactly.
His mistake was like literally physically harming somebody, and he's such a powerful figure, and for him to have to resort to slapping somebody, it just really felt like that was like the biggest bully move that you could do in Hollywood, right?
Yeah, he said something about the mistake.
Yeah, for to want people to sympathize with him, I think there's still like what you said, still 499 other steps he needs to take before he does this kind of video, right? Maybe this video can be step 500 or something, then okay. But until he actually does that 499 other steps, it's hard to sympathize with him, man.
I think he has to take 501 more steps because he just added 2 more steps that he needs to take. Because exactly. The point he said about the mistake, right? He said, I'm only human. I made a mistake. Yeah, okay. Exactly like what you said. At no point did he kind of condemn the fact that his answer to the whole thing was to slap a grown man in front of like 1 billion people watching.
Yeah.
So it just feels like, walao, it's Will Smith.
Yeah. But what do you think of Chris Rock like not wanting to speak to him about it?
That one. I mean, I can totally understand. He speaks to him about it when he's ready, and now he doesn't feel like he wants to speak. I actually have no issue with that. But what about you?
I'm guessing it's of course the cynical person in me would say he wants to milk it for all it's worth on his stand-up circuit because people are talking about it and they're very interested in what he's hearing, right? But the truth is also you I mean, he was the victim, right? He's the real victim of the whole thing. And if he doesn't feel that the apology from Will Smith was sincere enough or anything, it's his prerogative to feel that way and not feel like he wants to entertain Will Smith's apologies, or he shouldn't be forced to feel like he needs to talk to Will Smith at this point. You're basically like putting a victim with the aggressor, right? So until the aggressor really shows that he's made steps to rectify and also reflect on what he's done, then I think it's his prerogative to choose when he wants to speak to him. But in that sense, like what do you think? What do you think Will Smith can do now? Like really, like what is there? Let's say like that Chris Rock doesn't want to talk to you. You've seen that making a video like this seems to have backfired. If anything, what can he do now to make things better? That will make you feel like you want to be friends with him again, with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I mean, do what you need to do with your personal trauma. Just go about life, and if people come to notice that you are doing these things or changing, then great. But don't put on this act, like don't. I don't know. He has to accept that he fucked up, and people are not going to like him for a while, and just not force it, I think that's one thing I've realized through personal relationships also. Like when people do something wrong and they try and force a sped up path to redemption, that's fucking annoying. That is fucking annoying. Of course, not to say that there shouldn't be any pressure. If someone wants to reach out, I mean, that's fair. You can still do it respectfully. But when they don't take the hint and they keep kind of pressing you and wanting to things go back to normal, that one also is fucking annoying lah. It's fucking annoying. I hate that. And sometimes things just take time lah.
So you'd prefer that he just keep a low profile and not say any.
I mean, if I was like his like life coach or something, maybe I would say that like. But what about you?
I mean, I won't deny that. Yeah lah. Like let's assume that a lot of the stuff. Okay, now we're just putting on our tinfoil hats and assuming that a lot of the stuff
and
that
life
we see on
coach,
the internet
life
is
coach
real.
jacket, life coach jacket.
You know, a lot of people are saying literally that there's something going on in his family or his marriage, right? That is causing him this kind of pressure to need to act out this act of physical violence to protect his wife's image and reputation and all that lah. So I think it's a very damaging allegation lah, both for him and for his family lah, right? For everyone to feel like that his family, there's something going on wrong with his family, and this single apology doesn't clear that allegation that much. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe just in terms of PR move, even just being seen being more of a like you say, get off that whole like forced PR train of making apologies and videos and all that, but just be seen more as a family man, you know, literally like just spending time with your family, doing a bit more normal family things rather than filming Facebook videos or YouTube videos and all these things with your family. That doesn't count as family time, right? But I don't know, just being seen as more of a family man, as a community man, and doing stuff for the community, I mean, whether it's philanthropy or what, but without publicizing it yourself on your own YouTube channel and or Facebook videos and all. Maybe there's some way to correct his public image slightly. I mean, it's difficult. It's very difficult, right? You can't. Okay, let's assume you've made a very big mistake. You've been an asshole. But right now, with the more content he produces on his own channels, I feel it actually backfires for the whole family, right? So if you were to back away from the content, like what else would make people feel like, okay, you're someone that is safe to hang around again, you know?
But that's the thing, they're such a public family, right? Like everything is out in public and that's almost their business brand. So to step away, there's going to be a lot of inertia, but I mean, that's just the fucking the consequences. Thankfully, they're not struggling financially, right? I think
I'm sure they got businesses backed up. They got generational wealth, basically. Yeah. What the woke salary man would say, generational wealth.
And because Will Smith is really like one of the biggest stars ever, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it just feels like, I mean, okay, so then do you recall any off the top of your head, right? Anyone who did like an apology video, right, or managed to dig themselves out of a hole that was potentially very deep,
only one instance that I recall watching, but this was a long time ago, and it was a very different media landscape as well. But I remember when David Letterman, he was outed for, I think sleeping with someone, a member of his staff or something, cheating on his wife, basically. And he had to publicly address it on his show. He didn't mince words. He said that, he's done something, if I recall correctly, I watched it on the show as well. He had done something that hurt his family, and he just wanted to ask for time for privacy and to heal, and then he was hoping that, and that was just a mistake he did, and that was that, and he wants, and it's something for him to address with his own wife and family, and he hopes to be given the privacy to do so, but he also apologizes for whatever ruckus that whole incident caused. And somehow, I remember when I watched it, it was just a very, I think it was around the same time when Jack Neo, right, very many, almost a decade plus ago, Jack Neo had his own very public incident. And the contrast in the way they're very different levels of celebrities, but Jack Neo literally was running away from the media, right? He was running from paparazzi.
And got press conference, right?
There was a press conference. His wife, he brought his wife forward. The wife cried and then collapsed during the press conference. So a lot of people, you're probably too young. If you're too young to remember that incident, it was a huge thing in, I think, 2010 or something, when Jack Neo was caught. He had cheated on his wife with a very young actress, an actress who had appeared in his movies. And there was a lot of salacious details about, she was much younger, and there were a lot of salacious details about how they cheated in his car, in different hotel rooms and all these things. So, and then other actresses or other personalities started to come out of the woodwork also saying that, they were approached by Jack Neo for various things, and it was just generally very creepy behavior, right? Yeah, and so there was a lot and there was a big media hoo-ha, because back in the day, there were press conferences, and he was running from the press, hiding from the press in his home. They were hounding him outside his house, and then he had to have a press conference where his wife was brought to speak, and then she begged for forgiveness and for privacy, and then she collapsed, and then it was just damn drama. It was damn drama back in 2010, I think. That was around not too long, or around the same time when the David Letterman incident happened. And just seeing the contrast in how they handled it just made me realize, maybe the way is really to address the issue head on, and to do what you can do, which is ask for privacy, but in a more authentic way, right, than what Will Smith has done here. I mean, he's definitely not being private about it. Like you said, they did a Facebook. They still were shooting a Facebook video about it and trying to make it sound like the wife was the one who was bullied and everything.
So for me, there was one video that I recall, which I can't seem to find anymore, but it was by the beauty YouTuber James Charles lah. There was some big drama between him and another friend turned enemy called Tati, and I don't honestly remember much of the issue, and I think it got quite ugly because he lost quite a lot of followers, and he posted a video, she posted a video, he posted a video, she posted a video. But I recall the way he did it was one long ass video, no cuts, all the awkward pauses were left in, nothing fancy, and he's a huge YouTuber, and I think his quality is damn high lah. But I remember watching it, I was like, okay lah, this one feels like it's really off the cuff, it's not scripted, and it feels authentic lah. I don't recall the exact details of it, but I remember watching it and slowly kind of almost understanding him, and that to me is the hallmark of a good apology video lah. And another shout out, and I know this is going to ruffle some feathers, but just in terms of the format, it was recorded, was the one that Joe Rogan did last year. I know the content, some disagreeable, some not, but the fact that he just recorded it off his phone, without any fancy kind of shit, that's one thing, right? That even if it's a calculated move, you can almost fucking factor into your apology video lah.
This was apology about the matter with his COVID messaging, is it?
No, I think the old clips that resurfaced.
Oh yeah. He made some where he said some racial slurs, right?
Yeah, some racial slurs. So you watch the clip. I'm sure you can find it. It's like 9 minutes, I think. And he was recording it like you would imagine your mom would record an Instagram video up close, just no framing, poor lighting. But it just felt like okay lah, okay, that's his perspective. You can disagree with it, but at least it felt a bit more real.
Yeah. I do recall that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. But yeah lah, I mean, it's I think it's really about feeling like that is authentic and that you're not milking it for other reasons, right? Trying to protect your career or anything like that.
I mean, even if our podcast, if we start editing it it's fucking damn polished and all, then I'm sure it would feel different lah.
It'll definitely feel different.
Yeah, it'll feel different, and maybe that will suddenly we do one edited podcast and we fucking go global. And we're like, oh shit, we've been keeping it real all this while for nothing. For nothing.
But important to keep it real, right?
Keep it real, man. Even though I hate that phrase.
But sometimes when you keep it too real and keep everything too current, it also pisses people off lah.
Oh, I thought you were going to make a horrible dad joke. If you keep it too real, it becomes a real.
Oh no, that's all yours. That's all yours, man. All
if
yours.
You said that, right?
I'll let you have it. This is like your about to get married joke. This is about to get married.
I can feel myself becoming a married man. Fuck.
Yeah, your paunch is starting to show already.
That's-
No, but I was about to just say, there are some businesses even in Singapore that, in light of everything that's going on with inflation and GST kicking in and everything, they're also keeping it real. And the news is because Bishan seafood stall has announced that it will start imposing service charge and GST for eating dining in at the kopitiam that they're located in lah. And they are located at 15 different 15 branches all over Singapore as well.
It's a chain, like
So
a chain.
yeah, so it's not a small chain. So yeah, there's a bit of a discussion about it because diners are worried that other businesses will start doing that too.
Yeah. So I mean, like, there's some chatter online, and the context is that the brand is fully seafood. We have 15 outlets, and starting 1st August, which is today, there's going to be 7% GST and 0.1% service charge. As opposed to the normal 10% lah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, when they announced that, if you read the article, in their defense, they are saying that because their turnover last year was 1 million, they obtained approval from the authorities to charge 7% GST lah. But I mean, from just doing research for this, I also came to understand that for F&B outlets, the whole rules around GST and all is also not very clear, or is not mandatory, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you get a range of responses online. But yeah, what were your thoughts when you first saw this?
I found it quite funny that they're going for 0.1% service charge. But just like GST itself, it doesn't need to be fixed at 0.1%, which means it can be increased over time, right? But I think, I mean, right now they're doing it as a symbolic gesture, but definitely over time it can be increased. But I think what they're trying to do is to get customers over the hurdle of even thinking about that there's a service charge or GST when eating at the Tzi Cha restaurant. But it's not really even a restaurant, right? It's one of the Tzi Cha stores in a kopitiam. And I mean, we were not too long ago, we were just discussing the idea of how kopitiams these days are like the battleground for rich people to invest their money in terms of buying over kopitiam. So we know that the increase in prices in kopitiams is almost a sure thing to happen. It's almost inevitable. And but in this case, they're doing it because they're doing it supposedly because of service charge and GST and all that. So a lot of people are very worried because you traditionally think of the kopitiam as a more budget-friendly place to eat, where you don't have to worry about waiters and air conditioning and good service and all that. But even then, now you have to pay for service charge at these places. Like, I think that's what freaks people out, lah. But it might be the first of many businesses starting to do so, lah. That's what I can imagine, lah. Like this is just the first, lah. This is the 0.1%, lah, right? But after that, more and more will start doing it.
A different kind of 0.1%.
Yeah, correct.
But
what do you think about this?
I mean, at first I was like, okay lah, like, okay. I mean, I was expecting more of the service charge to go up, and the GST not be part of it. But I don't know whether you can do that. Because I was wondering, like, I mean, GST, my layman brain is like, government service tax. I mean, is this going to go to the brand themselves, or going to go back to the government and whatnot? So I was just thinking, is this another way of slowly increasing prices without increasing prices? But then the more you dig up, the kind of interesting it gets, because so generally businesses, you can run a business without being GST registered, right? I don't think you need to have $1 million turnover to be GST registered.
You don't,
right?
Yeah.
You don't. And what are the implications of being GST registered as a company, Terrence?
You have to pay GST.
Yeah. So from what I understand, you charge GST on top of your services, which ultimately goes back to the government. But for any expenses to your cost of goods or anything, you can claim back the GST you pay for that.
Yeah, that's right.
Which if you're not a GST registered business, you cannot do. So then when I was reading out about this, I mean, generally some people pointed out that there might be a reason why they are charging GST and they are only charging a 0.1% service charge. And that is because if they're GST registered, they can claim back GST on their cost of goods. And if you have 15 outlets, maybe that might add up, you know. And then, but the thing about the 0.1% service charge, there's a rule like imposed by the government saying that if you don't charge service, your price you display, right, needs to include GST. But if you charge service charge, then your price doesn't need to include GST. So for them, by doing the 0.1% service charge declaration, their prices on their stalls and all can still be reflected without GST.
That means you're saying that displaying the GST
Yeah, correct.
is the key part here, right?
That's
they're just trying to get around they're trying to get around using a loophole to such that they don't have to display the GST, right?
Yeah, there are some people who are hypothesizing, and if you read out on the IRA's website and all, it does say that then you're like, oh, okay, this isn't just, maybe there's more to it maybe there's more to it.
Yeah, there really could be more to it because ultimately, I mean, you can charge service charge, but you could also, rely on hopefully the customers giving tip if they enjoy the service and all that, right? But one thing is for sure, I mean, if the customer sees that there's a service charge they're being charged a service charge, they're probably less inclined to give a tip as well, right? Let's say to a server. So I just psychologically, when even for myself, when I go overseas like this trip, and I go to a place that charges service charge, to me it's like, oh, okay, then I don't need to sit there and calculate a tip or anything like that,
I see.
Which is a psychological thing to get around, but
how often?
Go
ahead. Go ahead.
But but I mean that doesn't count the fact that if I see that service charge only 0.1%, then maybe that might make people think differently. But how many people actually look at those numbers, right?
Yeah. But then if you were to see a stall, given that, okay, these are stalls in a coffee shop where you have other stalls as well. Like, do you love your tsa that much to be okay with, hey, this stall is charging GST and a bit of service charge, but all the other stalls are not? Would it affect your decision?
Yeah, I think definitely it will affect my decision. I'll be probably more like, okay, the understanding what GST, being a GST business also, I also understand, that means there's a big chain, there's a big business, they don't really, they're making a lot of money, they don't need my support and all that. So yeah, it will definitely affect my purchasing decision as well.
But what if you really want your Hong Kong noodle or dry chili chicken?
I mean, then how? The thing is, it is also, you can also find other alternatives, other places that have this as well. Like there are a lot of other kopitiams around, especially in Bishan area also.
So you think it will impact their business,
For sure. I mean, that's why they're doing all these strange things, like you said, this 0.1% service charge, and trying to get around it, and such that they don't need to display the GST so specifically and all that, right?
Yeah, I guess because GST doesn't, because there's all this nuance to it. I would go so far as to say that I think when people hear GST, generally like, oh, I must pay government to eat my Hong Kong noodle or something like that, So don't know, I'm guessing there's a business reason, but I would be more open to them increasing their prices a bit more just by virtue of the core price.
That means not specifically stating that it's because of GST or anything, right?
Yeah, but I mean, of course, if they're GST registered, I think they have to display they charge GST. But if they're not GST registered, increase the prices. That's why it feels like there's probably more to it. There's probably some reason. And maybe like what you said, maybe next month it'll be 0.2% service charge. Or maybe 0.3%, 0.4%, 0.5%.
I mean, for sure, GST will increase, right?
Next year, right? 8%, right? So
them introducing the GST charge now, kind of softens the blow when it increases from 7 to 9, right? Psychologically, it softens the blow, right?
And also,
people just think, oh, okay, it's a island-wide thing. It's a country-wide thing. It's not just them increasing prices.
And also, if they can save money from reclaiming back the GST that they are paying for goods, the GST hike, this also allows them to factor that, like kind of balance that off lah.
Yeah.
Right, if they're going to be paying more for the goods to make their product, make their service, then yeah. But then I guess it's almost like the reality that okay, ultimately all these stalls are also businesses, right? I think we've been living in this bubble for too long that these are just like a family cooking for us at low prices.
Yeah. But that's here's the part that I like to talk about is like philosophically, like what the point of a service charge, right? Like why is it that for when you're eating, I mean, when you eat at a kopitiam or something, the whole point is you forego a lot of the amenities that you get at restaurants, right?
Yeah.
So why should they be charging a service charge as opposed to, baking it into the price of the food lah? Are you? What do you think of that? Like, how does that make you feel when I ask you that?
For the chili and the chopsticks and all that kind of thing.
But there's still a dishwasher, there's still a chef,
but we haven't paid for
in
chili.
The line of service, right?
We've never had to pay for chili,
Correct.
Right. We've never had to pay for chili. But I will also say, but it's one of those things that, I also feel, you eat at a hawker center, you're going to sweat. You might be eating at a table where there might be some bird poo, but that's part of the whole thing lah. But we're almost too spoiled by what it has been. And maybe we need to wake up to the reality, man.
I mean, it's because we talk about hawker center generally, if you think about in the larger scheme around the world, it falls into the street food culture of a country. But the fact that Singapore, in the 50 years or so that we've been around, the progress everything has moved so fast where we have literally Michelin star hawker stores and Michelin star restaurants in the same vicinity lah, right? And that's where the divide is lah, where how do you really account for that difference in if the food tastes are both, say, so-called like approved by Michelin, right? Then what else defines that experience that you pay such a premium for lah, right? And that's where it gets a bit more. I mean, even for business owners, I'm sure they look next door and then they see someone else charging so much money plus service charge and everything for essentially what is also Michelin star food and all that, right?
Yeah.
And then it makes you ask yourself as a business person, like, why am I, not able to charge the same prices or charge the same rates for the things that even when I'm offering something that's almost as satisfying lah in terms of taste lah, right?
Yeah,
it's a very tricky thing that I think it's all part of the the inequality and the fact that we discussed a lot of times, like, when you got a lot of rich people moving into your country and driving prices up and all, like everyone starts questioning, hey, am I earning enough to survive in this country lah, right?
I think what you said is an interesting way to look at it, that hawker center category-wise, it falls, or pricing-wise, it falls into street food. So it's almost like other countries, you have street food, you eat on the street. Singapore, you buy street food, we got chairs and fan and a restroom for you. It might not be the best, but you get that lah. You get that.
Yeah. So maybe
the hawker bubble is bursting. The hawker bubble is bursting.
Yeah, it's literally we're having the next generation it's harder and harder to find people who want to work at a hawker center or work in the F&B business. So it is a real issue lah, and this is just a symptom of that whole issue lah, I think.
Yeah, man. I guess that's what maybe it's a bit jarring for people. Hawker center got GST, what the fuck? But it's like any new product that you put out now, whether it costs $1, $5, whatever, there is GST. Wait, actually that's not a fair statement. But yeah, maybe the whole GST thing associated with hawker is jarring lah. Jarring.
Yeah, I mean, the things that we expect from the hawker experience, like, a decently clean toilet, like hygiene practices and all these things, and clean tables, clean seats. It's all part of the service experience you get at a hawker center now also lah, right?
But even though you might not get your Hong Kong noodles from there, would you say that they are wrong to do this?
No lah, they're never wrong lah. It's the choice you make as a business also lah, right? Maybe, I mean, I'm not the exact target market either, because I don't eat at Zhi Cha restaurants Zhi Cha places that often, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I'm just speaking theoretically from my perspective, but there are people who would feel very angry or offended by this by this price hike lah, based on service charge and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing there is the people. I mean, like hawker centers also exist for a reason, right? To provide low cost food. For so that like as many people can get a meal as possible, lah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this one, if it impacts the price, that's where it gets a little dicey, lah.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is just the first of many. Maybe they might revoke it in a few months. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows? But the fact that this is the fact that this is happening, I think is important. It's just important
It's
for
a
people
watershed moment.
to note lah. Yeah.
It's a watershed moment.
Don't be surprised if it happens more.
Years down the road, we will look back on 1st August and think that was the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
Beginning of the end.
But yes,
Cool, man. Yeah.
it's been a while, so we actually can talk about a little bit about one Shiok comments that have come in
Yes.
on our social medias.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Do you have one in front of you?
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, there's just the comment on the Rishi episode that we recorded. Is that someone did just say that there were comments that Terrence's voice is a bit scratchy in this podcast. Are you okay, Terrence? Yes, I'm okay. But Jungle Jimbo then said both Harish and Terrence really sounded less than 100% healthy. Thanks for your dedication, guys, with regards to the Yalabat podcast. But please take care of your health also. And Mark W. Jacobs said, Terrence sounds like someone in witness protection having his voice dubbed. So yeah, I mean, tough man. It was a tough podcast to push through, but we did, and that's the commitment we have to this podcast, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you like if you carry on listening for years, you're probably going to hear us change our voices, change our faces, change our looks. But yeah, hopefully you guys will be there to see it and hear it, man.
Yeah. That's right. How about you? What's your one Shiok comment?
My one Shiok comment was something from Jungle Jimbo, long-time Redditor and ardent supporter, Jungle Jimbo 88. He posted a comment on the poll about, people enjoying re-uploads of older episodes. And in his comment, he actually had some very good suggestions about like a low-hanging fruit to kind of optimize or improve the reach of our podcast. So for one example is it, since we are uploading, like audio-only versions of the podcast on YouTube, because it's still the second biggest search engine, people still consume content through YouTube. They have an auto transcribe function where it automatically puts in timestamps and shit like that. And I was like, that's a good fucking point, man. And then, even though the auto transcript feature is not perfect, it still helps with the searchability and all that. So shout out to the suggestions, man. We will look into it, Jungle Jimbo 88.
Yeah.
Cool. And anytime if anyone has any suggestions on how we can do what we do better or any other low-hanging fruit, just shout out, man. Just shout out.
That's right.
Cool, man. Cool.
And
if I could just make one small thing about a general wave of comments that came in. I think, on our Yalabat podcast Instagram and on Reddit, there were a lot of messages just wishing Terrence and I well and hoping we get well soon, which I have always been skeptical about. But when I read it, I was touched, man. Last time whenever people say, thanks for the love, I'm like, fuck you all, okay? You're just saying that to appease your fans. But when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, it made me feel warm inside, man.
No, I also got some DMs about that as well. I think, it's because, people are so familiar with our voices, we're in your ears, like every other week, every other day, if not at least once a week, right? So it's like, if our voices change just a little bit, I think people also can notice it and maybe makes them feel uncomfortable.
But I mean, to send those messages, thanks to everyone who did, man.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. And then the one Shiok thing for the week. Yes.
I mean, my one Shiok thing is I finally gotten around to just plugging through Better Call Saul. Because I tried some time ago. Chugging through. I don't know why I like to use plug, but yeah, chugging through Better Call Saul. If you all don't know, it's the spin-off series from Breaking Bad that started in 2015, and it's in its final season now. I think final 6 episodes are finally are going to put it to bed after 7 years. But the just amazing thing is that the character played by Bob Odenkirk, the star of the show, Saul Goodman, the character has been around on TV since 2009, man.
Oh, really?
If you think about it, it's like 13 years of this guy playing this character on TV already, lah. And it's all finally coming to an end. So yeah, I think the later seasons are a lot better than the first season. That I must say. So I'm just having a lot more fun and interest in as the countdown to the end of the series is going on, lah.
I see. Yeah. How would
You've not watched it before, right?
No, I haven't even finished Breaking Bad, dude.
Yeah. This is one you need to finish.
But how would it compare to the others? Because I've heard some people say they prefer Better Call Saul than Breaking Bad.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I think Better Call Saul, it mixes legal courtroom drama with the criminal stuff that goes on, below the underbelly of Albuquerque and all in New Mexico. Whereas Breaking Bad was really about Walter White navigating the whole criminal network system, lah.
I see.
Whereas the Better Call Saul has the aspect of legal drama with the underbelly of the criminal system attached to it as well, lah. So in some ways, it might not. It's not as full cohesive a story like Breaking Bad was over like the course of several seasons, right? Whereas Better Call Saul feels like it's a few different story threads going on, and you know what happens to the characters at the end of everything, in terms of when they start going down the Breaking Bad thread as well. So it's a very different different type of show, lah. But if you like legal dramas, I think Better Call Saul is not bad. It's pretty good. Yeah.
I see. Wow, cool.
Yeah, how about what's your one Shiok thing?
My one Shiok thing is this website that I came across recently called the Players Tribune. Have you heard of it?
Yes, I have.
So you have consumed content there and whatnot?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. So I mean, I at first what caught my eye was this article about the footballer called Adriano, who was a Brazilian phenomenon when he burst onto the stage. I think 18, 19, he was already playing for the national team. And the story was about where he went after the first few years of stellar performances, because he got injured and all. And it was his story, written by him. I don't know whether it was with help from an editor and all, but it felt like not an article. It really felt like a story from him. It was very personal. And then I click on the rest of the website. I'm like, oh shit, this whole website, it's about hearing stories directly from athletes, and it's long form stories. It's not a tweet, it's not a video, and it's very well written, and you get some big ass stars there. And then I found out that it's founded by this ex-baseball player called Derek Jeter, some Australian Derek Jeter, who was like a baseball legend also, lah. And the whole premise is to tell stories directly from athletes. And it's like, oh fuck, this is pretty cool, because you have athletes from football, from American football, from tennis, from basketball. And I just thought it was a brilliant idea, lah. And I really enjoyed the article by Adriano. So yeah, I'm gonna explore the rest, man.
Yeah. It's that's where I've heard about it. It's just talking about sports from the athlete's perspective, lah.
Yeah,
from
exactly.
the athlete's perspective. Yeah.
And not only sports, it's about their own life as well. And I think the quote on their About Us page from Derek Jeter. Yeah, I'm not a robot, neither are the other athletes who at times might seem unapproachable. We all have emotions, we all have a story to tell. But it's not, because now stories, you see through Instagram and all that fucking show. But this one, I just thought it's cool, man.
Yeah.
And it's quite a big company that's growing pretty fast, man.
Yeah, I've read quite a few of their stories before, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool shit. Cool shit, man. Cool. All right, good to be back, man.
Yeah, let's hope for more big news stories this week that we can talk about.
Yeah, exactly. And good voices for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
All right, talk to you all soon, man.